Hi, welcome to Bradley. My name is Angie, and I'll be your host as we spend the next hour together discovering why Bradley is an exceptional place to learn and grow. Next to me is Lydia Moss Bradley. Today is all about introducing you to people, places, and spaces that make Bradley University such a special place. I love to share Lydia's story. She outlived all 6 of her children and her husband and created this space to allow students to live an industrious and useful life. To create a space all the way back in 1897 where you were going to leave here and get a job. It's Lydia's legacy that we continue today. Today, over the next hour, you will get to meet the president of our university, current students, faculty, and our admission counselors to make sure that you get your questions answered. There's a live chat. Be sure to use it. Lots of opportunities to interact with other students who are also thinking about Bradley. We also have our Q&A feature open, which is a really great place to directly reach out to our admission counselors. Today is live, it is about you, and I'm really excited you're here to join us. Let's get started.
What makes Bradley a special place is simply people. So when you invest in this place as a student or as a faculty member or as a staff member, it's all about the people that we work with day in and day out.
Bradley is a personal experience that once you go here, you'll always feel like you belong.
We're incredibly proud of the fact that we have a high internship placement rate, that many of our students publish regionally and nationally every year, and that we are fortunate enough to be able to send so many of our students to present their work and research at national conferences each year.
Our experiential learning coupled with our relatively small size but yet relatively large size so we can have good equipment but good student-teacher ratios gives us this very powerful combination for success.
The way that I always explain this to people is that faculty had a choice too. So just like you all deciding where you want to spend your college years, we got to decide where we wanted to spend our career, and many of us chose Bradley because of the faculty-student interaction. We enjoy our time with students. It makes the education richer for the student, but also more meaningful for us as faculty as well.
So it's that seamless type of experience, whether it's solely at the undergraduate level or undergraduate to graduate or post-graduation on out there into what individuals are doing in the field. You keep those bonds, those relationships with the professors here at Bradley long into your career.
Come
Start
Your Bradley story.
Come start your Bradley story.
We have moved indoors to the 3rd floor of the Hartman Center Theater, one of the original buildings to campus. And joining me now is President Stephen Standiford. Thank you so much for coming. It is quite cold outside, so thank you for trekking over to the building. One of the questions that I get a lot when we talk to students and work through this whole process is why Bradley? And I think there's nobody better than you to really talk about why Bradley. As the president, what does this place mean to you?
Sure. You know, it's interesting. One of the things, so I'm relatively new to the institution myself, and one of the things that really drew me is a legacy of really deeply engaged learning, an environment where the faculty care deeply about the success of our students. Goes back to our very founding. And a hands-on experiential learning. That's always been a key part of who we are, and it's one of the things that really attracted me. I have to tell you, one of the things I've really come to appreciate in the last few months is just the importance of not just the quality of our faculty, but also the quality of our students. I had a chance to guest lecture in a class today, actually, in a strategy class, and just watching our students interact and their engagement and their thoughtfulness, and that's a real power too. That's one of the things that makes this place really special. It's the high quality of not just the faculty and the staff, but also the students, and it's a hallmark of who we are.
I agree, and I love that you mentioned Lydia. I love to share her story. And this place with 185 different academic programs and over 240 student organizations. I always talk about how Bradley is a place where students can really make their own story. Not everyone here is going to have the same experience. And so you mentioned you'd lectured in a class today. What have you seen stand out as really remarkable about the student experience here at Bradley?
Boy, it's an interesting question. So it's multifaceted, right? So obviously the academic programs are core to who we are and the quality of the academic programs. That is and always will be foundational. But the number of student activities you can be involved in, whether it's music or theater or sports, and one of the things that I think is a real strength for us that we probably don't talk enough about is our connection with the community. In fact, one of the students today in class talked about how she does volunteer work locally for the United Way. And our relationship with the community creates this amazing immersive opportunity both on and off campus. And that's a real asset. That's one of the advantages that we have being here in Peoria, and not just the depth of the university, but also the community connections.
It definitely is. Those connections are so wonderful, and our students get that experience. You learn to grow up here a little bit and learn who you're going to be. As you kind of think about Bradley and our students that are joining us, we have about half of the students today on our Zoom are juniors, so they're just starting out, and about half are seniors getting ready to make that final decision. So what piece of advice do you have for those students?
Yeah. You know, it falls a little bit from the conversation we've already had. Obviously, find a program where you can find the academic environment you're looking for. But don't underestimate the power of community. The community is such an important part of your overall experience. I'm really excited and proud of the community we have here. And one of the things I think you should probably be sensitive to and be aware of is you'll be part of this community for the rest of your life. This becomes your new home. And so when you look at the opportunities, look for that community that works for you. That's a really important part of who we are and what's important to us. And I think you owe it to yourself to pay attention to that as well, because it's a key part of your overall educational experience.
I love that. And I promised you today joining us that you would have an opportunity to see places and spaces and meet people on campus. And so thank you, Dr. Standiford, for joining us. Just a quick note before we transition. Today is a day where we're going to have some on-campus live things. We've also had some pre-recorded content, but all of our content is mindful of the situation that we are in and health information with COVID-19. And so just wanted to let you know, everything has been taken into consideration to make sure all of our guests are healthy and staying safe. So with that, I'm going to send you off to see a little bit of our campus, starting with the Slane College of Communications and Fine Arts and the Foster College of Business.
Welcome to the Global Communications Center, home to our students of Slane College of Communications and Fine Arts, also home to our School of Sports Communication. This building houses plenty of different opportunities for our communications and fine arts students. For example, the Bradley University speech team, which is one of the most nationally recognized forensics teams in the country, has won 42 national titles here. In addition, we also have plenty of opportunities for our user experience majors, our game design majors, along with game arts and graphic design majors with fully equipped labs and experiments that students can use year-long.
When you graduate from Bradley and you look back upon everything that you've done, your resume is not just going to show the academic work, which is super important, but it's going to show all those other opportunities that Bradley offers, the experiences that you might pursue, whether it's the Hollywood semester or being part of the speech team or being on chorale tour or whatever it happens to be. All those experiences are things that are attractive to employers, but also valuable to you and your career down the road.
Hi, and welcome to the Foster College of Business. Today we're in the Data Analytics Lab, which is one of our many collaborative and experiential learning places on campus. This is one of the many places that I've been able to utilize to help me get my 3 internships during my time on Bradley's campus, which will help me not only now, but during my time at Bradley and beyond.
Well, I think that the biggest thing that we hear often is that our graduates can hit the ground running. So we hear over and over from employers that our graduates are ready to go from the moment that they start in that organization. And that shows up a number of different ways. So we have a very solid accounting program, but we also have the highest CPA pass rate in the state. We have the number 5th ranked sales team in the world. And that's great, but what's really great is that 100% of those graduates get the jobs they want after graduation. So over and over again, we see that our students can hit the ground running in whatever career they'd like for themselves.
And one of the things that attracted me to Bradley is the amazing faculty we have. When I got to college, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do with my future and what I wanted my major to be, and an amazing group of people helped me figure out what I wanted to do and helped me declare a finance and marketing major, which is where I am now.
All
right, we have transitioned down to the main stage of the Hartman Center Theater, and joining me are 5 of our remarkable faculty, so thank you all. I just continue to say thank you for braving the weather, so thank you, thank you. And as we get started today, I want to talk a little bit about Bradley being located in Peoria, and I think it's such a big part of the student experience to have the access to the hospitals and the schools and the community. Dr. Clark, can you talk to us a little bit about how Peoria itself plays a role in the Bradley experience for your students?
Sure. So Bradley is such a phenomenal city, town. I always, is it a city or town? I'm relatively new to Peoria. I've been here since 2019, and not only Bradley attracted me, but the Peoria greater area, because there's just so much to do and ingrained in the culture of everyday life. For me, I'm the Associate Dean of Nursing, and so my students interact on a daily basis downtown with our great hospital facilities. We have a level 1 trauma center. We have our own St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which is amazing, the affiliated hospital. So we've got just world-class healthcare and other organizations like educational centers here in Peoria that, other students would have to travel, hours to get to. And they're in our own backyard. So monumental experience. And for us, it gives our students experiential learning, gives them hands-on experience that they have in school that they're only going to project in their own careers when they leave Bradley.
Definitely. And I really liked this student from Jordan from St. Louis. So hi, Jordan. Do we allow incoming freshmen to do 2 majors or 2 minors, or kind of have that bigger experience? And I talk so much about how Bradley is a place where students really can build their own story and customize their experience. With over 185 academic programs, there's a lot to do here, and sometimes as an incoming freshman, it's hard to decide. And so, Dr. Prescott, what thoughts do you have to offer to students who are kind of deciding between majors or want to do more than one thing?
Well, that's a lot of students, isn't it? Both my kids are Bradley graduates and both double majored. Often when you come to college at 18 years old, for instance, and you have skills and things you're good at and you're excited about, you get to college, and not only to discover all sorts of new opportunities, you're discovering who you are, and that you have gifts and abilities that you didn't know about. And so Bradley celebrates and supports double majoring. Not just within colleges, but across colleges. For instance, students in our incredible interactive media program and game design, they often will double major in creative writing to develop as storytellers. Students who are considering law school, for instance, might add a philosophy major to something like mechanical engineering or finance, and find that by integrating those studies, they make themselves more desirable for admission to graduate schools and also to employers. Employers are looking for Bradley students to be able to hit the ground running and to bring multiple skill sets to bear on a team of people with different skill sets to solve problems in a practical way.
Well, and you mentioned that employers are looking to Bradley students, and I think one of the reasons that they are is because our students are required to have an experiential learning opportunity and to have it documented while they're here on campus. And so, Dr. Henderson, can you, from a professor's perspective, talk a little bit about a project or an experience maybe some of your students have had that you think really sets them apart?
Well, the great thing about this is with the experiential learning, with our capstone projects, they come from not only local companies, but from some that are across the country. So that's really nice. So you get a grade for that. It shows that you have that experience. But then there's projects within classes and research that students are also able to get experience from. So it kind of goes across the board. Sometimes it's grade-wise, sometimes it's experience. Maybe they get to publish or they get to go to a conference. So they're able to actually show what they've learned and show that knowledge. And then it also helps them maybe go to grad school or some professional, some kind of professional area later on.
Professor Rotier, as a Bradley graduate yourself and now a professor, you've had the experience of the Bradley experience from both the student perspective and now the professor perspective. So can you talk to us a little bit about how students can prepare themselves to be successful at Bradley?
I think there's a lot of different things that you can do. I think challenging yourself to make a good selection to be good with. I think it starts with what is your course of study and where is a place that can help you excel in that. I think when you're choosing classes, both in your current program and as you move into university, choosing classes that challenge you and push you outside your comfort zone, help you learn about different things. Student organizations are a wonderful way to develop your own skill set, to give you the chance to explore new topics, to become a role model and a leader as you drive that student organization, and also to serve others and really step outside of yourself and your own needs, but serve that group. And then work experience, starting to build that practical experience in the workplace. And you ultimately you're going to set yourself up for a great path here at Bradley. What I love about seeing with our students is they come with big hopes and dreams, and we just help them develop those hopes and dreams while they're here, and then send them off into the world to go do even bigger things.
I love that. And when you say bigger things, I kind of immediately think about size, and the fact that Bradley's size is one of the things I talk most about when students are starting to look at different places, that this place at nearly 6,000 students, a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio, an average class size of 17 students really allows you the space to have that interaction of a big school where you get lots of experiences and lots of organizations and lots of activities, but really that dynamic, personalized experience in the classroom. And so, Professor Marsh, can you talk to us a little bit about, from a faculty perspective, again, kind of what that professor-student relationship means and how valuable it is for you and for our students?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that question. There's two things about that I just adore, and there's two things in the classroom and two things out of the classroom. First, a smaller class size means that I get to learn everybody's kind of different, diverse, learning, how do they learn best? And so I can adapt my teaching strategies and tactics, to kind of meet students where they are. And I also get to know the students throughout the course of the semester. You get to find out about them, where they come from, what they want to do. They have siblings. And then that carries over then outside of the classroom. And I get to see students that maybe I had freshman year, the remainder of their time, in the hallways. Hey, how are you doing? And those relationships carry on even after graduation, in our Bradley networks and in the wonderful things that our students do in their lives and their careers. And so I find that so valuable, to creating those relationships that'll last beyond their time here at Bradley.
Well, and a common theme running really from all of your responses today is that each of our students really creates their own experience here and creates their own Bradley story. That's what I love to talk about is building your own Bradley story. I would love to hear some of your Bradley stories. So can you share just one, we are limited on time, one of your favorite memories or Bradley stories of one of your students? Dr. Henderson, can we start with you?
The one that I'd bring up is we were actually able to, not only with the engineers, but going with interactive media as well as theater. And we were able to take the students to Las Vegas. And they were able to interact with the individuals from Cirque du Soleil. So they got to not only go to the shows, but they were in the background and got to see the engineering, all the arts, and how their skills and tools that they learned here could be put into a whole different medium that maybe we're not even taught here on campus. So that was great, and they really enjoyed that. And that's something, it's kind of like that once in a lifetime chance. If you don't work there, you could say, wow, I got to see this in the background. So they're actually able to share that and be excited about it.
Well, and I love that because it's such a good example of how our engineers could still be in the band or can still be in the theater at Bradley. And what a cool experience for them to see that outside of the classroom as well. Thank you so much. Professor Rotier, what about you?
Ooh, this is hard because I've been on the student side and the faculty side, but I'll pick just one. So with faculty, I work with the social media marketing program here on campus, and it's a great group of students that I've built a long history with now because we've had the program in place for 10 years. But one of my best experience ever with this class, we were tweeting with Olive Garden about the joys of breadsticks, and I think we can all agree how good the breadsticks are. And Olive Garden reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to have your class come to our restaurant here in Peoria. And I said, well, we're running out of days. And they said, no, that's fine. Come, we want to work on your schedule. So our final exam was at Olive Garden, and we could order anything off the menu that we wanted. It was one of the best days ever.
All right, I did not have that kind of final exam when I was here. So that is amazing. I love that story. Professor Marsh, what about you?
So we have students who participate in the Hollywood semester, where they live in Los Angeles and they get internships. And I remember a time not too long ago when my phone rang just out of the blue, and it was the director of The Price is Right. And the director said, hey, that student who's interning with us, she's fabulous. I'm going to offer her a job as soon as she graduates. Is there any reason why I shouldn't? Well, no. That's great to hear. And then literally a week later, the executive producer of CBS's Big Brother called me to say, hey, that student who's been working with us is awesome. You got any more of them? And I was expecting somebody else to call the following week from like CNN or something, but it didn't. I must have missed that call. But you know, the reputation that our students have, because they work so hard and they work so well everywhere. I absolutely adore the reputation our kids have.
I love that. Dr. Clark, what about you?
But I'll give you an example that just happened. So obviously we're living in a pandemic kind of world, and we talked about, the access to all these great hospital sites and with nursing students. One other thing I was most proud of is that all of our students were vaccinated before going back to clinical this semester, and that happened because of our connection with the health departments here in Peoria. Not only did the students get free vaccinations, but then the health departments actually offered them to come in and really give to the rest of the community. So we're actually there today, even in the snow, giving vaccinations to the community. And so that to me it hits home even now, because our students are out there getting real world experience and making a difference in the midst of a pandemic. And who can say that, right? Not a lot of us.
That gave me goosebumps, and it is not because it is cold on this stage, because there are a lot of lights on this stage. What about you, Dr. Prescott? What story do you have to share with us?
It may be the hardest for me because I've been here the longest. I'm beginning my 60th semester of teaching at Bradley. And the chief, most delightful experience for me with students is always those seniors when they realize something spectacular has happened. And if I have to share just one, it will be a recent one. Okay. And it's the student Amanda. She's a double major in psychology and English. And I mentored her through an application for a Fulbright scholarship. And so this is going to be in Vienna, Austria. And she just learned that she's a semifinalist. And I have no doubt that I'm going to hear that she will win this award before the end of May. And she'll be able to spend an entire year over in Vienna working part-time in a major NGO that serves the poor, working in the evening in a soup kitchen, and then taking a course of her choice at the university. That wonderful gap year experience for someone deciding which direction she will go for graduate school.
What a remarkable, these are all remarkable stories, and I'm so glad you all got to join us today. I promised you again that access to people, and these are the people that they're not just here today to sit on this stage. You're going to see these people in your classes. You're going to have them as your academic advisors. That's one of the things about that student engagement experience at Bradley. Well, you'll have an academic advisor in your area of study, someone to go to and ask those questions and say, can I double major? I want to add this class. What do you know about this project? Can you write me a letter of recommendation? These are the people that you're going to be able to see, and so many more of their colleagues when you come to visit us on campus. When you joined us today, we invited you to a VIP experience, and so if you have registered before Friday, you got this packet in the mail to let you know some information about Bradley and kind of the next steps. We are so excited that you are here joining us today. And so as we transition to our next area, I want to send you out to learn a little bit about the College of Engineering and Technology, the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and the College of Education and Health Sciences.
Welcome to the Business and Engineering Convergence Center, where it houses the Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology. So the most interesting thing about Bradley's engineering program is that you get hands-on experience right away. One great example is the Makerspace. The Makerspace is where you get all your inventions and your ideas up and back to life.
All right, and this is the auto shop, and we have 4 cars in here. We have the Solar car, a Formula One, Baja, and a Super Mileage. And all of these are part of an organization called Society of Automotive Engineers. That's kind of experience for students to get involved and get hands-on experience, and later it could eventually be one of your senior design projects. So getting that little bit of experience before you get in here for your senior year is very helpful.
Welcome to the Concrete Lab. Here we have different samples of concrete that, believe it or not, sometimes turn it into a canoe. So we have a canoe competition on campus called Concrete Canoe, where we'll take different densities of concrete and then make it so that it could float. Although this is kind of a fun project here on campus, it's definitely something that could carry on into my construction career, and I think it's really cool.
Bradley Engineering is all about getting started from day one in engineering. So we believe in putting you in your major coursework from your first semester, your first year, all the way to your final senior year. And we help you through that all along the way. The other thing that makes Bradley great is that our professors are the ones that are actually teaching the class, holding those office hours and inviting you to come in to their office to explain things further.
Welcome to Bradley Hall, home to the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Liberal Arts and Sciences is home to many majors, everything from English and history and computer science to over here, sociology, psychology, political science. There are so many different things in this building. Bradley Hall is actually one of the 3 original buildings here way back in 1897 when Bradley was first founded by Lydia Moss Bradley. Another really cool thing, Bradley was founded by Lydia Moss Bradley in order to have a really well-rounded education for her students. But overall, College of Liberal Arts and Sciences is home to so many different things, and it's a really neat building here at Bradley Hall.
So what we do here is we bring them in understanding that they're unique individuals. They have someone along the way. They have an academic advisor. They have faculty that they will fall in love with. They have a department chair. They have associate deans in the dean's office. They have an academic success center. They have a Smith Career Center. And then most importantly, they have their parents and they have their circle of family and friends. All of us working together will just increase the odds exponentially for that student's success.
And now here we are in our general chemistry lab in Olin Hall. So this is a great representation of the lab sciences and the opportunities you will have as an undergrad. So as an undergrad, I was actually involved in freshman research, and I still am in research. And with my undergraduate research experience, I have been able to be published in 2 national magazines, and that would only be possible through my Bradley experience.
We often hear the words right size describing Bradley. I really think that we're not too big, we're not too small, we're just right. We can have that small enough size that we can interact with the students and fairly low student-teacher ratios, but at the same time we're big enough that we can bring in the infrastructure, the equipment and stuff so that we can give students a good experience, a good learning experience.
Hi guys, welcome to Westlake Hall. Westlake is home to the College of Education and Health Sciences. As an education major, I have all of my classes here, but we also have nursing simulators and health science classes.
And going along with our EHS, a part of that is the nursing program, which is a direct admit program. So you start clinicals your sophomore year. You would start out here in our nursing lab, which has IVs, blood pressures, so you can kind of comp with that with your professors and then go straight into the clinical setting.
As a senior in the education department, I've had 6 out of 7 of my semesters be in schools in the Peoria area, which sets me apart from my competition.
One of the things you'll find at Bradley University is we really do embrace a collaborative approach to education. The partnerships that we form in the College of Education, Health and Sciences with the other colleges across campus, I believe is a pillar of what we do here at Bradley. The degree programs that we offer would not be possible without that type of partnership with our colleagues in the other colleges and that collaborative approach to the experiences that we provide to our students.
I hope those videos helped you see yourself on campus and have access to some of the places that are so special and make Bradley so unique. We have, as a reminder, admission counselors and current students in the chat and in the Q&A today, here to answer all of your questions. We can't talk about all 185 academic programs and all 240 or 50 student organizations today, but we do want to make sure you get your questions answered. And so if we haven't addressed it in the live video, make sure that you ask your question in the chat and they'll be sure to reach out and answer those questions for you individually. We did a quick change during that video and we now have 5 current students here joining us, so thank you guys all so much. One of the questions we get all of the time, Maggie, is how do you fit everything into your 4 years at Bradley? You are double majoring, I believe. So can you talk a little bit about how you manage your time and your academic workload as a student?
Yeah, of course. Coffee, first of all, but also I do use Google Calendar as well as planners. I like to stay busy. One of my majors is theater, and so I have rehearsals on the production side as well as the performance. So I have a lot of hours where I have to be elsewhere and not sitting down at my desk. So just writing down everything, taking the time after class to write down all of my homework, what pages I need to read, and then actually blocking out time in my Google Calendar for that homework or those specific assignments really helped me. I never used it in high school. I always just wrote it down in the last 30 seconds of class and then I did it. But now in college, I found that I had a lot more free time, even though I was busy, like on the weekends. And so I would take 2 hours on Sunday and finish everything, crank it out before the week.
Nice. Jackson, another one of the questions that we get a lot, and actually has come up in the chat today, is Bradley kind of beyond Bradley, going to grad school, going to med school. You actually are getting ready to take that step. So can you talk to us a little bit about how the classes that you've taken at Bradley have prepared you to get your doctorate in physical therapy?
Yeah, 100%. So I just cannot rave enough about the kinesiology and health science major and the faculty and staff for this major that I have. It really is just preparation for beyond Bradley in health and the medical professions for chiropractor, PT, PA, OT, anything you can really dream about after your bachelor's is over. So it really is the support from our faculty that starts first day freshman year that I really just cannot talk enough about. We have our health professions advising office with Dr. Valerie Bennett. First thing I did, made a 4-year plan. Sat down with her. I was pre-PA, and then she's like, okay, 4-year plan, we're doing it. Went to the Smith Career Center, got an internship, built a resume, did that for the first time junior year. Probably was a little late, but I did it, and then I got my internship, and then I got a bunch of observation hours, and I went back to her, and I'm like, you know what? I think I want to do physical therapy now. And then we revised my 4-year plan, and with just the support from the faculty that is in this department, it really has just prepared me for that next step, which is going to be Bradley Physical Therapy Program. So I have another 3 years here, and I'm really excited about it.
So I could keep you on the student panel for a while. That's what I hear there.
Yes, you can call me back anytime.
Before we wrap up today, I'm going to make sure that our admission counselors go ahead and drop the link in the chat for the virtual dorm tours and residence hall tours that we have. About 90% of our students live on campus in a traditional year. Bradley is a residential community, and so there's so much to do in and around campus. We've talked a lot about the academic experience today, but really the community experience is a big part of that as well. Natalie, you were from Texas, which got snow today, so a big day in Texas. Can you talk a little bit about how did you move into Bradley and where did you live your freshman year, and kind of what was that experience like being away from home?
Yeah, of course. So I'm in the Dallas, Texas area. So it's about a 12-hour drive from Dallas to Peoria. So moving here, we packed up my parents' car and my car, and we did that 12-hour drive, which was crazy. We got there, we pulled up to the residence halls that I was staying in, which was Geisert at the time. There was just a bunch of Bradley students waiting outside to unload our cars, put it up to my dorm, which was really easy. It took about 5 minutes, which was really helpful. So once I got there, I met my roommate, and then I ended up meeting some other girls on my floor. So what I can say is you can expect to find a family and a home away from home, really, when you live in the residence halls.
I lived in Geisert my freshman year too, but let's actually go take a look around and see what you were talking about. Evan and Abby are over in Williams Hall. Guys, can you show us around?
All right, thank you, Angie, and welcome everyone to Williams Residence Hall. This hall comes with a full-on cafeteria as well as a little food court that we call Center Court. And I'll take you guys in here actually. So anything that is this colored, wooden, will come with the room, as well as these metal bed frames and a mattress as well. You will need to bring your own sheets and pillows and your own futon. People like to bring those. You'll have to bring your own TVs. A lot of people will bring their own fridge and microwaves for the room, but you can also rent those directly through the university and have someone install it for you and uninstall it at the end of the semester. And we'll go ahead and check out this side of the room over here. We have some desks over here which come with the room, desk chairs, gotta bring your own. We also have this little wall over here that will divide kind of between work and play. So let's say you have an exam tomorrow morning or tomorrow sometime, you really gotta study, but your roommate wants to play some video games, he's gotta play some Fortnite or something, you never know. He can go ahead and do that. He's not going to bother you studying. Or if he's got to get some sleep tomorrow, got to go to work, then it's no big deal. You can study. You've got these little lights here under the desks, so all the other lights can be dim, but you can still see and do your work. Abby, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so all of our dorms also come with free Wi-Fi and air conditioning, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And then something that I was also really worried about was just storage in general, but you don't have to fret about that. All of the dorms come with these really nice closets, and so both roommates get their own closet space. And then there's these giant drawers down there where you can get a ton of clothes in there. And then there's also big drawers in the dressers as well, so you don't have to worry about fitting your clothes or fitting your toiletries or any of the things that you need.
All right, and speaking about clothes, let's go check out a laundry room real quick. And if you guys want to see this dorm again or any of the other dorms on campus, we have virtual tours of each and every one of the residence halls here on campus. So those are ready to go view and check out on our website, so definitely go and check that out.
So yeah, come on into the laundry room. So something key to note right here is this little device. So this is where the laundry happens. So you scan your ID card and tap the screen, and then you can select any washers and dryers and pay directly with your meal plan and your ID. So you don't have to fumble around with quarters or anything like that. And then this system is also hooked up to a website, so you can see if the laundry machines are being used, if there's any time left on them, and it can also send you a text when your laundry is done, so you don't have to come back and check or miss your laundry or anything like that. But that's it for laundry.
All right, thanks guys, and back to you, Angie.
Thanks, Evan and Abby. That was so awesome to be able to get in and see a residence hall. One of the things that I love so much about Bradley this year is we have continued to be innovative and pivot as we have just navigated this unexpected time. If you come and visit campus, which we definitely encourage you to do so, we have actually recreated a residence hall in this very building in one of our galleries. And so we've taken all of that same furniture and brought it in so you can still see that space without putting anybody at risk by going into a living space. So something kind of cool. Definitely come to the campus and check that out. One of the questions I was looking through the chat as we were getting ready to move through that we were getting a lot is, what is there to do at Bradley? What kind of questions are there? What kind of activities are there? How can I be involved? And I think you guys are some of the best representations of what that looks like. And so we're gonna go down the line really quickly. Can you guys tell me what you are involved in at Bradley? And then maybe one of you, Jackson, what about you? Talk to us a little bit about kind of the activities fair at the beginning of the year, okay? Maggie, let's start with you. What are you involved on campus?
I'm involved in Greek life, as well as I have a job with the admissions office, obviously, but also I am on the recruitment board of the theater department, which is really fun because I'm a student, so I get to meet the new students, and then I'm a part of the productions, whether it's performance or production-wise.
Awesome. What about you, Jackson?
I am involved in Greek life, a pre-professional health honor society. I have done study abroad. Big Brothers Big Sisters mentoring program, which is the local elementary school, mentor a kid about once a week.
Oh, cool.
And gosh, so many other things that I can't even name because there's so many of them. My list just goes on and on. But the activities fair that you mentioned that happens at the beginning of the year, there are around 240 organizations. They set up tables along either outside or inside, depending on the weather. And you just go around and you put down your email and your name on about 60 lists. And that's what I did. And my email was flooded the next day. And I was like, I don't know what to do. There's so many, I don't know what to commit to. But truly my biggest piece of advice has got to be get involved in 2 or 3 organizations that you're really going to commit yourself to, because that's where you're going to find your group of people.
I love that. Natalie, what about you?
So this semester I'm kind of taking it easy, and I have a job at the admissions office right now, and then I'm also involved in Greek life.
Okay, wonderful. Janae, what about you?
I'm in MAPS, which is the Multicultural Association for Pre-Health Students. It just started back in 2019, promo there. And then I'm also a star, obviously, for the admissions office, but then I am a mentor for ODI, which is Office of Diversity and Inclusion. So, yeah.
Just a few things. Jeremy, what about you? What are you involved in?
So I am a resident advisor in our dorms. I've done undergraduate research here on campus. I'm involved in our Catholic Braves here on campus as well. I am the president and founder of our disc golf club on campus. It's something that I played all throughout high school and wanted to do here. So I established that my freshman year. So yeah, definitely very involved.
I love that. So honestly, this is one of the things when everybody asks me what's the downside about Bradley, I always say it's the opportunity to be over-involved. And I think you guys have clearly demonstrated that that is definitely one of the things that can happen here. Janae, another question that we have been getting a lot, we talked a little bit about double majoring, but so many of the students, particularly today, about half of our students are juniors, half of our students are seniors, they don't necessarily know what they want to major in yet. And so for students who are unsure, we do have the Academic Exploration Program, and this allows students to come in and really explore the campus and see what's going to be a good fit for them. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you started at Bradley in, and then you changed your major, and are you still going to graduate in 4 years?
So basically for me, I came in wanting to really be an orthodontist, and that was like my dream since I was 12. I loved braces, and my friends thought I was crazy. But long story short, I ended up changing and getting a minor in chemistry instead of having a major in chemistry and then doing a psychology major because I ended up really loving it. And so the really great thing is if you come in with like a perspective that I'm going to do this, you just learn more in college about what you really desire to do. And I always say the greatest thing about Bradley is that they desire what you desire. And so once my desire changed, they were like, okay, let's get you back on board to where it is you want to be. And yes, I'm going to still graduate on time, which is awesome. But I also have an English minor, which is crazy because it's like all that in addition is a lot. And so you would think, oh, she's not going to graduate on time, but they made it work. And so, yeah, I'm very thankful for Bradley to desire what I desire.
Well, they made it work, but also you made it work. And I've talked so much today about this being your story and the Bradley story. And Bradley is a place where you can create that and make it look maybe different when you graduate than what you thought it was going to look like as an incoming freshman, which I think is such a cool thing. Jeremy, you are getting ready to graduate, so you're kind of wrapping up your Bradley experience. Can you talk to us a little bit about your senior project and what does a senior project mean, and what does it mean for you as you get ready to kind of leave your legacy at Bradley?
Of course. So as a senior, I'm of course in the middle of my senior project right now. I'm working with Komatsu. They have a headquarters downtown, and we're actually physically building a part for their mining trucks. So working on the design and then of course the testing for that. And our senior projects are really cool because it's definitely a culmination of everything that you've been learning, over the course of your 4 years at Bradley. And then with that too, it gives you really good job experience for what you'll be doing in the real world. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Today, we invited you to join us and learn a little bit about the Bradley experience. Sorry, we're moving cameras. Okay. And one of the things that I love to share about Bradley really is the size. And being a school of nearly 6,000 students, you get that big school experience with the Division I athletics. And we actually have one of the only school in the country that has a gargoyle as our mascot. And so joining me now is the only Division I mascot who is a gargoyle in the country. Kaboom! How are you? Thumbs up. Awesome. You brought something for us today? All right, we're gonna hold it down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so we wanted to make sure that for those of you joining us today, on your VIP badge, it did mention that you would get a t-shirt. I can't send you all a t-shirt in the mail, but here's the deal. When you come visit campus in person, you will get a t-shirt. That VIP badge works still when you're on campus, but today, in lieu of that free t-shirt, we do have a bookstore coupon for you. So go ahead, visit the Bradley Bookstore website. We'll put that address up on the screen, and then type in HELLO21 for 21% off one logoed item. So make sure you check that out. Get all of your own Bradley gear set up and ready to go. All right, so we are wrapping up. Thanks, Kaboom. the students talked so much today about kind of the next steps and the Bradley experience and then getting ready to graduate. And joining me now is Dr. John Knighty. Hello, Dr. John Knighty. I'm so good. How are you? So one of the questions that we got today is from Madison in Plainfield, which I think is really what's on a lot of people's minds. Madison specifically asked, and I don't want to get this wrong, if she could get a job in nursing after graduation, which I feel like is a very
It's a very solid yes.
But more generally, how does Bradley set students up for job success and after graduation?
That's a great question. We actually start working with students their very first year when they come to campus. We get into the EHS 120 classes, and we invite all students to attend career fairs and to attend what we call our internship launch event that helps them understand both the career process and the internship experience. So we start the very first year and then build on that first year to help them understand what they should be doing year after year after year.
I love that you challenge us to do it as freshmen. I remember being a freshman and going and having no idea what to do, but getting those nerves out and learning really prepares our students for senior year. One of the things I really love to hear you talk about is the concept of knowledge rate, and what does that mean and how we use that to determine the idea of success after graduation. So
Sure.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Knowledge rate is one of my favorite things to talk about.
I know.
So knowledge rate is really about the percentage of the class about whom we have information after they graduate. So for some other schools, they talk about how high their career outcomes rate is. But when you press on them and ask how many of those students did you happen to know about, sometimes they respond with 50% or 60%. And you can imagine that 50 or 60% all have jobs or all going to graduate school. At Bradley, we typically know what 94% of our graduates are doing within 6 months of graduation. 94%.
Yeah.
So that really lets us say with a lot of authority that within 6 months of graduation, 90 or so % of our students are employed or going on to graduate school.
And your team is on the phone calling all those graduates. I have been the recipient of one of those phone calls myself. Dr. Knighty, thank you so much for joining us. I know it was just a brief time, but I think it's so important, even as incoming students, as freshmen, to really know the resources that they have available to Bradley, because this is all about the Bradley experience. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. As we wrap up today, I hope you enjoyed hearing from the president and our faculty and our staff and our amazing students. This is a place where I've mentioned so many times today that you get to create your own Bradley story. One of the questions that we got a number of times, you all emailed me, is can I still apply to Bradley? And for those of you who are seniors, the answer is yes. And so if you are still kind of going through that process and not sure if we have everything for your application yet, go ahead, reach out to your admission counselor, let them know, hey, I'm still curious about Bradley. For those of you who are juniors, you're kind of just checking us out today. You're, what's Bradley about? What does this place look like? Your application will actually open this summer, and it'll open in July. We have a special junior-specific event for you guys coming up in March, and that's really going to go into more details about the application process and what that specifically looks like as you're getting ready to start your own individual college search. I mentioned today that we wanted you to come down and visit campus. I'm going to have them pop in the chat today too, the link to visit. We have been preparing a number of programs for you, and even today, as we were getting ready for today, we had 2 more programs added to the list. I think we added psychology and philosophy today, and so if you have not had a chance to check out the vast number of academic information sessions, activity information sessions, and opportunities to visit campus on live and in person, definitely check that link out in the website and see what makes the most sense for you so that you can get your questions answered. As we close out together today, our hour together, I hope this was an opportunity for you to see a little bit more about this place, why we all love it so much and why we think it's so special. The next video is going to share a little bit from the parents' perspective, because at Bradley, we are all a part of this story, and we know for a lot of you, your parents are a big part of the decision that you're going to make of whether or not you attend here. So we wanted to hear from some of our parents, just so that you know, when that video ends, our time together will end today. So if you have any questions, now is the time to pop them into the chat, get those last social media handles from your friends that you met today written down, and get ready to start your own Bradley story. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let's hear from the parents, and have a great day.
So Bradley has been a very special place in our hearts for a very long time. I've had 3 kids go to Bradley, and they've all had different experiences.
Having our daughter Ginger go to Bradley has meant more to us than we thought going in.
I didn't go to a really big school, so the huge state schools are just not something I'm personally comfortable with. And I think the fact that their professors knew them and expected them to be sitting in that seat in the morning was really nice. That I'd never felt that they were just, number 182 in a huge lecture hall. And I think that's a wonderful thing when you can be in college and have some professors that you can even get closer to and talk to, and that's something you can't get in many big schools.
I think it is the community is small enough for Ginger, our daughter, to matter, and for folks to know her, and for her to know the president, and for her to know the athletic director and the chief of the Bradley Police Department and the people in the admissions office where she works, of course. And those connections, you can't put a price tag on.
I think Bradley provides a really unique opportunity for students to not only thrive as students and get their academics under their belt, but it also gives them great leeway, as Greg was mentioning, to get to know their professors, to get to know the administrators, to get to know the folks who make that university run and who also live and breathe and work and play in this community. And they can see what it's like to be a thriving member of a community in addition to being a student on campus.
When we were looking at Bradley, that the hard work she put in high school with her grades and things that she did would be paid back a little bit. And all of my kids actually had scholarships, academic scholarships, automatically just because of the hard work they put in high school. And I think there are many schools where those scholarships come not for the hard work you've put in. The fact that you put in hard work maybe means you get there, but to have that that financial help was very nice.
When our daughter surprised us with the fact that she had gotten accepted and was really thinking maybe she wanted to go to Bradley, we were kind of hesitant and a little bit nervous because it's very far from where we live.
1,000 miles away.
And when Dave and I attended, we were both in the Chicago suburbs, so it was 3.5 hours, convenient, easy drive. It's harder to send your kid far away. But the coolest thing happened as we saw how excited she was and moved her in and went to orientation. When we hugged and said bye, and I love you, and got in our car and drove away and left our kid, we had such an amazing sense of peace, like we were leaving her with our family. And it was so reassuring and it felt so good. All of our friends who have gone through that same experience, there was a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth. But for us, it felt good.
I know it has got to be really daunting for a parent to have their child leave the nest and go off to school. But Bradley is a great school that's going to help prepare their kids, not just to be a great student, but to be a great person. And Peoria community is so warm, is so loving, is so accepting. Any student that comes to Peoria and Bradley is going to do great.
And here's my last word. Go Braves.
Yeah, go Braves.
I hope that I have that right.